Today, I fudged up by telling my sister I had a dream about her husband. The details were not appropriate. I just did the most mortifying thing of my life. I told my sister I had a graphic, inappropriate dream about her husband. Yes, that kind of dream, about that person. As soon as the words left my mouth, I wanted to shove them back in. Now I'm sitting here with my phone on silent, watching as my family group chat explodes, and realizing I've probably ruined Thanksgiving, Christmas, and every family gathering from now to eternity. It started this morning when my sister Mia, 31F, came over to have coffee with me, 28F, like she does every Friday. We usually chat about work, life, whatever. I wasn't acting like myself. I was jumpy, flushed, practically choking on my coffee, and Mia immediately noticed. She kept asking if I was okay. I tried to play it off, but the awkwardness must have been radiating off me in waves. See, the night before I'd had this extremely vivid dream where I was, let's just say, intimately entangled with her husband Jake, 33M. It was so realistic that I woke up in a sweat, heart pounding, and absolutely horrified at my own subconscious. I spent all morning trying to shake it off and convince myself it meant nothing. But guilt has a funny way of gnawing at you, even when you technically did nothing wrong. Can't exactly control a dream, right? So there I was, half listening to my sister talk about some new recipe she tried, while internally screaming at myself, "Don't tell her, take this to your grave." I should have heeded that voice. Instead, when she asked for the third time if I was sure I was okay, I blurted it out. I blurted out the worst possible thing. I had a dream about Jake last night. An inappropriate dream. Mia just blinked, like she didn't understand the words. She sort of laughed and said, "What do you mean, inappropriate?" Her tone was light, but I could see her face tensing up. I panicked. I could have laughed it off, made up something about him yelling at me or doing something silly in the dream. But no, my idiot brain decided to go full honesty mode. My cheeks were on fire, my stomach was doing flips, but I thought maybe if I just ripped the Band-Aid off quick, it would be better. So I stammered, I dreamed that he and I hooked up, like it was, really explicit. As soon as I said those words, I wanted to die. Mia's smile fell off her face so fast, it was like someone yanked a curtain. Her eyes went wide and then narrow, like she couldn't believe what she just heard. There was this awful, heavy silence. I started rambling. "It was just a dream. I swear, I have no feelings for him. I don't know why my brain did that. I'm so sorry." I was talking way too fast. I think I even said something like, "Brains are weird, haha, it doesn't mean anything." I was desperate for a time machine to undo the last 10 seconds. Mia put down her coffee mug very slowly. I could see her hand was trembling. She asked, Did you do anything with him, or did he?" She didn't even finish the sentence. I practically yelled, "No, God, no, of course not. It was just in the dream, nothing in real life." My eyes were stinging with tears at this point. I reached out across the table like an idiot, trying to grab her hand, but she pulled back like I was contagious. She stood up so abruptly her chair screeched on the floor. "Why would you even tell me that?" she hissed. Her voice was sharp. I had never seen that look on my sister's face directed at me, a mix of disgust and betrayal. My heart felt like it was about to collapse in on itself. I don't know. I felt guilty, and I didn't want secrets. I thought I was babbling. She cut me off. "That is so messed up. Do you have some kind of thing for my husband?" Hearing that made me feel like I got punched. "No, absolutely not, Mia, I swear. I have no idea why I dreamed that. I'm not attracted to him. Not consciously." I was pleading, hot tears streaming down my face now. She just shook her head and grabbed her purse. What she said next is burned into my brain. In a cold, quiet voice, through clenched teeth, she said, "I can't even look at you right now." Then she walked out of my apartment, slamming the door behind her so hard my hanging plant trembled. I stood there in shock, half a bagel still on my plate and cold coffee in my cup, as the reality of what I had just done sank in. I tried to take a few deep breaths, but it felt like I couldn't get any air. My hands were shaking so badly, I knocked over the mug and coffee went everywhere. I didn't even bother cleaning it up at first. I just sank to the kitchen floor, holding my head in my hands. I felt like the worst person in the world. After a few minutes of sheer panic, I grabbed my phone and sent her a flurry of texts. "I'm so sorry. Please, let's talk. I swear I don't feel that way about him. It was just a stupid dream. Please don't hate me." I typed and retyped apologies, my fingers clumsy because I was shaking so hard. Every text went unread. She didn't reply. I don't know how long I sat there on the floor. Eventually, I cleaned up the spilled coffee and tried to calm myself down. My mind was racing with questions. Had I just permanently screwed up my relationship with my sister? Would she tell Jake? Would she tell our parents? Oh God, what if she tells Mom and Dad? My parents are pretty traditional, and this kind of thing would be beyond the pale for them. And honestly, even among the three of us siblings, we have an older brother too, Mia and I have always been super close. We tell each other everything. Well, I guess I took that a bit too literally, but we've never had a fight like this. About an hour later, I still hadn't heard from her. I decided to try calling. It rang twice and went to voicemail. I think she forwarded me. I left a rambling voicemail that was basically me apologizing 1,000 times and begging her to call me back. Probably a mistake as well, in hindsight, because I sounded like a wreck and maybe I should have given her space. But I was desperate not to let this fester. The rest of the day, I was a nervous wreck. I jumped every time my phone buzzed, but it was never Mia. I couldn't eat. I could barely focus on work. I work from home freelancing. Thankfully had no meetings because I looked like I'd been crying for hours, which I had. Around 6 p.m. my phone rang and I nearly pulled a muscle grabbing it. It was Jake. My heart pretty much stopped. I hesitated, but I knew I had to answer. As soon as I picked up, there was silence for a moment. Then Jake's voice, low and kind of strained. "What the hell is going on?" I felt my throat tighten up. "Jake, I'm so sorry," was the first thing I managed to say. I think I started crying again immediately because my voice was all high-pitched and wobbly. I messed up. I told Mia about a stupid dream I had. I don't know why I told her. I'm so sorry. He cut me off, not angry, but sounding really upset. She's upstairs locked in the bedroom and won't talk to me. She basically ran in crying, and now she won't come out or tell me what's wrong. All she said was that you had some dream about me and it made her upset. She won't tell me anything else. She just keeps saying she doesn't want to see either of us. Hearing that crushed me. My sister was so upset she locked herself away from her own husband. God. Jake, it was just a dream. And it doesn't mean anything, I swear. I was sobbing into the phone. This was so beyond screwed up. Now their marriage was feeling the strain of my stupid overshare. "What exactly did you dream?" Jake asked. I could hear the mixture of confusion and something like dread in his voice. He deserved to know what was going on, but I felt sick having to say it out loud to him. "It was sexual," I whispered. "It was a sex dream, you and me. I didn't want it. I didn't consciously want it. My brain made it up out of nowhere. I told her because I felt awful, and I made a huge mistake telling her." Jake was quiet for a moment. I wished I could melt into the floor and disappear. Finally, he sighed. "Look, I don't know what to say. I'm not mad at you for dreaming something. You can't help that. But telling her, that was not good." He sounded frustrated, but not furious. More like he was trying to wrap his head around it. "She's really freaked out. She asked me if anything ever happened between us, or if I ever flirted with you or gave you any reason." He trailed off. "Of course you didn't," I jumped in. "You have never been anything but a great brother-in-law. This is all on me and my stupid subconscious and my even stupider mouth." I think I heard him give a slight huff, like a half of a sad laugh. "I know. She feels betrayed, like both of us betrayed her, even though it's not logical," he said quietly. "I told her nothing happened and that it was just a random dream, but I don't think she's processing it rationally right now." I nodded, even though he couldn't see me. "Is there anything I can do?" He paused, then said, "Maybe give her some time. I'll talk to her later. Try to calm her down. Just maybe don't try to contact her again tonight, okay? She's pretty raw." "Okay," I agreed, my voice tiny. "And, Jake, I really am sorry. Please tell her that, if she'll even listen." "I will," he said. He sounded so tired. "Just, let's all get some sleep and I'll call you tomorrow or something." We hung up. I spent the rest of the night alternating between crying, berating myself, and Googling things like accidentally destroyed relationship with sibling, what to do. Spoiler, the internet did not have very helpful advice for told my sister I had a sex dream about her husband. Shocking, I know. I barely slept. When I did doze off for a bit, I literally jolted awake from a nightmare of Mia screaming at me. By morning, my eyes were puffed up like marshmallows, and I had a tension headache that felt like a vice on my skull. Around 9 a.m. the next day, my phone buzzed. It was a text from our mom. Just seeing Mom's name caused a new wave of dread. The text said, "Call me ASAP." My stomach flipped. Mia must have told her. Heart pounding, I called my mom, and she picked up almost immediately. Mom sounded concerned and stern at the same time. "Honey, your sister called me last night very upset. She wouldn't tell me exactly what happened, but she said that you told her something extremely inappropriate, and she needs some space from you." I felt tears starting again, At this point, I was a human waterworks. Mom, I really screwed up. I told her about a bad dream I had. About Jake. Mom was quiet for a second, then inhaled sharply as it clicked. Oh, I could practically see her closing her eyes, pinching the bridge of her nose the way she does when one of us did something stupid. Oh, my name. What were you thinking? I choked up. I don't know. I wasn't thinking. I just felt guilty and weird, and I thought being honest would, cleanse my palate or something. It was idiotic. It was definitely ill-advised, Mom sighed. Mia is, well, she's really upset. She asked me to talk to you, maybe to get you to understand how she's feeling. She's hurt and confused, honey. She keeps questioning why on earth you would even have a dream like that, and whether she should be worried about you around Jake. Hearing that last part made me feel like I'd swallowed glass. Mom, I would never do anything to hurt her or her marriage. You know that, right? Of course I do, Mom said quickly. But your sister, I'm not sure she knows that right now. Emotions are running high. I sat down on my couch, staring at the wall. I don't know what to do. I said sorry 1,000,000 times. Jake said to give her time. Should I stay away? Should I try to talk to her? Mom paused. I think it might be best to give her a little space for now. Just for a few days. Let me talk to her as well. Maybe she'll cool off a bit. But I also think you two should talk about it face-to-face soon, maybe with me or Dad there to mediate if needed. The idea of a face-to-face conversation made my heart lurch, but I agreed that it was probably necessary. We couldn't just pretend this never happened. We had to address it somehow. Okay, whatever she wants. I'll do whatever it takes to fix this, Mom. After hanging up, I spent the next couple days in a fog. I kept busy with work as best as I could, but every quiet moment my brain wandered back to why I had been so stupid. I replayed that coffee conversation 1,000 times, thinking of all the ways I could have handled it better. Any way would have been better than what I did. Mia went radio silent on me. I checked her social media just to see if she was alive and doing normal things. She posted an unrelated photo on Instagram of some flowers in her garden, so I guess she was at least out of bed. I resisted the urge to like it or comment. Jake texted me once, a short update. She's still upset, but I've reassured her nothing actually happened. Give it time. I responded, thanks, will do, and left it at that. I felt too awkward to say more to him. By the time the weekend rolled around, I was a ball of anxiety. We had a standing family dinner planned at our parents' house on Sunday. Nothing formal, just something we did at least once a month to catch up. I suspected Mia might skip it to avoid me. Sure enough, on Sunday morning, Mom called me again and said gently, I think maybe it's best if you sit this one out. I'll talk to your sister privately today, okay? It was like a gut punch, being uninvited to my own family dinner. I wanted to argue, but I just said, I understand, and hung up. Then I cried some more. TLDR. I told my sister about an explicit dream I had involving her husband. She reacted with shock and disgust, left my place in tears, and now there's a huge rift between us. My brother-in-law knows about it. My mom knows. And I've basically ignited a family crisis over something that never even really happened. I'm giving my sister space, but I have no idea how to fix the mess I made, or if I even can fix it. I genuinely fucked up, and I might have broken our bond for good. Update 1. It's been a week since my original post, and things took an even more intense turn. First off, thank you for all the comments and messages. For those reading outside of Reddit, I got a lot of feedback. Some supportive, some understandably harsh. I read them all and took them to heart. Many suggested giving my sister time and a heartfelt apology. Well, I've tried both. A few days after the incident, my mom arranged for a family meeting at my parents' house. Basically, Mom felt it was necessary to get me and Mia in the same room to talk things out, with our parents there to mediate. Mia agreed to come, to my surprise, and Jake came with her for support. I was so anxious beforehand that I thought I might literally throw up on the way there. We all sat down in the living room. Me on one couch with my mom patting my back. Mia and Jake on the opposite couch. Dad stood by the fireplace, arms crossed, looking uneasy. The tension was so thick I could taste it, bitter in the back of my throat. I began, voice shaking, trying to apologize again. I said, Mia, I am so sorry. I was wrong to tell you. I regret it more than anything. I never, ever meant to hurt you. I was already choking up, and I hadn't even gotten to the worst part yet. Mia was staring at the floor, jaw clenched. She looked like she'd rather be anywhere else. Mom gently prompted her. Sweetie, your sister is talking. Can you look at her? Mia snapped back. I don't want to look at her. Her eyes finally lifted and met mine. They were red-rimmed, like she'd been crying before coming. I can't get the image out of my head, she said, voice trembling with anger. Every time I see you, I see that scenario you told me about. Do you have any idea how sick that makes me feel? I broke down crying right there. It was just a dream. I'm sorry. It meant nothing. Please, I hate that you're hurt. I was blubbering. Dad stepped in with a firm tone. Okay, let's all calm down. We're here to talk calmly. But Mia wasn't having it. She turned to our parents, calmly. How would you feel if Aunt Name told you she had a sex dream about Dad? You think you'd be calm? My mom gasped. Mia, and glared at her for the analogy, but I don't blame her for drawing that comparison. It is that level of messed up to her. I wiped my eyes and managed to say, I know I messed up so bad. But it was something my brain did without my permission, and I was stupid enough to tell you. I wish I could take it back. Jake finally spoke up gently. Honey, I think she gets that it was involuntary. It was a dream, not like she planned it. Mia whipped her head towards him. Don't defend her, she said, raising her voice. You don't understand how it feels to be her sister right now. I keep wondering, why of all people did she dream of you? Do you two have some kind of vibe I never noticed? Was I blind to something? Hearing her say that gutted me. I shook my head frantically. No. There's nothing like that, I swear. I have never thought of Jake that way. Ever. She shot me a look and laughed, but it was a cold, broken laugh. Yeah, well, my mind goes in circles. I lie in bed thinking about every interaction you and Jake ever had. Every time you laughed at his jokes, or he gave you a friendly hug. And I feel like an idiot for never worrying about it until now. Jake looked pained. Mia, please. I have never seen your sister as anything but, well, your sister. Family. You know that. Mia pressed her fingers to her temples. I thought I knew. Now I don't know what to think. This whole thing is in my head and I can't make it stop. Her voice cracked at the end, and I realized, with a sting, that she was blinking back tears. Mom scooted closer to her and tried to rub her shoulder, but Mia shrugged her off. Don't. She took a shaky breath and addressed me directly. You broke something, you know that? You broke the way I see you. I keep trying to convince myself it's nothing, but I can't. You telling me that. It put a horrible picture in my mind I never asked for. I felt like dying. Through my sobs, I whispered, I wish I could erase it from your mind. Erase the whole day. I wish I'd never opened my mouth. She just shook her head. But you did. Her voice was ice. And now you expect me to just act like it's okay? To come to family dinners and smile and chit-chat with you like I'm not picturing you and my husband? She cut herself off, visibly shuddering. At this point, Dad interjected again, sounding more emotional than I've heard him in a while. Nobody is expecting you to just move on overnight, but we have to find a way through this. We're family. Mia rounded on him. Family? Dad, she's the one who made it weird, not me. I didn't do anything wrong. Neither did I burst out. Everyone fell silent. I mean, it's true. Aside from telling the awful truth, I didn't actually do anything. But the weight of what I'd said hung in the air. I broke the silence, softer. I mean, I know I shouldn't have told you. That was wrong. But I didn't choose to dream it. I would never hurt you intentionally, Mia. You're my big sister, and I love you. My voice cracked into a sob again. Mia's eyes flashed with hurt. You have a funny way of showing it, she muttered. She looked at me, and for the first time I saw not just anger, but deep pain. Do you understand how betrayed I felt when you told me that? Like, what am I supposed to do with that information? You just dumped it on me, and now it's my burden to carry too. I hadn't thought of it that way, that I basically unloaded my guilt onto her so I could feel better, and now she's carrying that disgust and confusion. I'm sorry, I said yet again, utterly defeated. I was selfish. I thought I was doing the right thing at the time, but I see now I just wanted to ease my own conscience. She gave a slight nod, as if acknowledging that point, but her guard was still all the way up. I appreciate you saying that, but I don't know how to move past this. Honestly, I don't know when I'll want to talk to you again. Hearing that was like a punch to the gut. I started sobbing openly. Mom started crying softly too, saying, please, you two, don't do this. You're sisters. Jake put a hand on Mia's shoulder. Maybe we should go, he said quietly. Mia stood up, already wiping angry tears off her cheeks. She looked at me one last time and said, I need a break from you. Don't contact me. I'll reach out when and if I'm ready. Her voice wavered, but her words were firm. Then she turned and walked out of the room. Jake gave me an apologetic half-glance and then followed her out the door. As soon as they left, I broke down completely. My mom was hugging me, crying, my dad looked lost and upset. The whole thing was a nightmare. So yeah, that went terribly. I can't blame Mia for how she feels. She's right. I put this burden on her. Now she wants no contact, at least for now. I have to respect that. It hurts like hell. It hurts to breathe knowing my own sister can't stand the sight of me. Mom says we should give it time and hope for healing. Dad has been quieter, but he told me I really screwed up. In kinder words, but still. I haven't heard from Mia since that day. I'm trying to hold on to hope that she'll miss me and realize I'm still the same sister deep down. The one who loves her, who made a dumb mistake. But as of now, the damage is done, and I have no choice but to wait and see if time will soften her anger, or if I just permanently wrecked our relationship. Also, for those asking, my brother knows the basics of what happened but wisely stayed out of the intervention meeting. He texted me later saying, well, that was a dumb move, but hang in there. Pretty much sums it up. Update 2. Final update. It's now been about 6 weeks since I dropped the dream bomb on my sister, and sadly, we're still not really talking. I wish I had a happier ending here, but this isn't the kind of story that wraps up neatly. After the explosive family meeting, Mia kept her word about needing space. No contact at all. I haven't texted or called, and neither has she. The silence is painful, but I know it's what she asked for. We didn't see each other over the holidays either. For the first time in my life, my sister and I spent Thanksgiving apart. I went to my parents' house, and Mia and Jake made an excuse that they were spending it with his family. Mom later admitted to me that Mia just couldn't handle being around me yet. I told Mom I understood, but that understanding doesn't make it hurt less. I ended up leaving early after dinner, and cried my eyes out at home with a bottle of wine and the TV on mute. Funny enough, I haven't had a single inappropriate dream since that awful one. Instead, I have nightmares where I'm chasing after my sister and she just keeps walking away. I wake up feeling the loss all over again. I started seeing a therapist to deal with the guilt and anxiety. It helps a bit, at least I don't burst into tears every day now, but I still feel a heavy weight of shame and sadness all the time. About 2 weeks ago, I tried one last olive branch. I wrote Mia a long, heartfelt letter, apologizing again, and telling her how much she means to me. I acknowledged that what I did was selfish, and that she has every right to be mad. I told her I'd be here whenever she's ready, even if it's months or years. I also mentioned that I'm working with a therapist and trying to understand my own motives, so I never hurt her like this again. I mailed the letter with shaking hands, not really expecting a reply. I was right. She didn't respond directly. But a few days after I sent it, I got a short text from her. I got your letter. I still need time. Please respect that. I stared at that text for a long time, hands trembling. It wasn't warm or forgiving by any stretch, but it was something. It meant she actually read what I wrote, and I hope on some level it touched her. I wanted so badly to reply, "Take all the time you need, I love you," but she'd asked me not to contact her unless she initiates, so I held back. I simply sent a thumbs-up reaction to her message. That felt weird, but I truly didn't know what else to do. So that's where things stand. I wish I could say we met up for coffee and cried and hugged it out, but the reality is, my sister is still keeping her distance. My mom tells me that Mia and Jake are doing okay in their marriage. Thank God for that. If I had harmed their relationship permanently, I'd never forgive myself. Apparently Mia doesn't really talk about me much, except that if someone brings up my name, she goes quiet. Mom's optimistic that with more time, Mia will soften. Dad is less sure. He told me in a blunt moment that sometimes things like this leave a permanent scar. I'm slowly coming to terms with the fact that I might have to spend a long time, maybe years, proving myself trustworthy again or atoning, even though I didn't physically do anything. It's a weird situation. I didn't do something, I said something, but that's enough to have broken our bond. Words have consequences, and I handed my sister a mental image she never wanted. In the meantime, I've been trying to live my life. Work is all right. Friends know something's up, but I haven't told most of them the details. How do you even begin to explain this? I did confide in my best friend, and even though she was shocked, she also believed me that it was an innocent but stupid mistake. That gave me a little hope. If my best friend can still accept me, maybe someday my sister will too.